everyone. My name's Amanda, and I'm a career exploration and media intern here at Upptik. And this week I'm interviewing Lily.
Hi.
Lily's a sophomore graphic and interactive design major at Quinnipiac. So I guess we can just start with, like when you're a senior in high school, like there's so many options and there's so many routes, and I think it's a lot of pressure on a lot of students. And what made you feel that like college was the best option for you?
For me personally, I grew up in a wicked small town where for a lot of people I knew, college was never going to be an option, unfortunately. So being lucky enough to be able to find a place that had my majors and gave me such amazing financial aid and scholarships, that was a big like kicker to continue pursuing my education for a lot of people in my town who can't, and because it's always been like my dream to go to higher ed, and then also my grandparents.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like college was always going to be like a no-brainer. It was just really a matter of like choosing the best place. And I think that, well, I personally wasn't allowed to go out of state, so like I had like a pretty like small amount of options, but like you're from Vermont. So what made you come to like Connecticut and like feel confident in your decision?
A big decider for me was definitely the 3+1 program here at Quinnipiac. Being able to get my master's my final year and then seeing the outcomes it has for especially advertising majors, which I think it's about like 97% get an internship or job straight out of college. That was a big motivator for me to come to Connecticut, even though it was a very hard decision to leave Vermont. Um, but knowing that at the end of it all, I would have a career lined up and have that all figured out was really important to me.
And why like graphic design? I feel like you're obviously like a very like creative person, and I think that like it I think students like might find it hard to kind of, and I touched on this in like my other interview that I did last week. Um I feel like it can be difficult for students to kind of leave like that STEM focus like mindset where like they feel like STEM is like where the money is and like all of that. And like what made you like feel secure in your decision to kind of explore communications and explore a more creative career?
Um, so a lot of it I can actually give to my grandpa. Um, so I took a SUNY course back in high school where I was there for half my day and it was all media arts and design. And he really pushed me to go into that course because he knew how much I loved just having that creative flow and seeing what I could do with that in the future. Um, but graphic design, I love the ability to think outside the box, to be creative with what I want to do, to look at how a brand makes like how it designs itself, how it creates what they're doing, and put work into that to really fit what their vision is and kind of explore new options to generate like new people in their market, see what's going to happen. Like I just think design, in lack of a better word, is wicked cool. Like um and I think any designer will tell you that there is just something so freeing about having the creative choices to do somewhat whatever you want on like a page and really go with that. And I think that's like big reason why communications are so important and why I think we still need people in those fields, like especially design.
I agree. Well, as like an advertising major, obviously, but I think that like for students coming into college, like they feel a lot of pressure to kind of have everything figured out. Did you feel that way when you were coming in as a freshman?
Yeah, 100%. I will say I didn't add advertising in until my second half of last semester. Um, because of the fact that I feel like when you come in, you feel a little bit of like, I've already made the decision, I can't back out. And then when you start exploring all these different fields, it just so many new potentials like open up and just seeing like what you can do. I feel like when you make that decision originally, you come in with this just idea that you have already picked up your life and moved here, and now you've got to just sit in it and figure it out when that's just not the case. You have so much time.
Was college like the right space for you to be able to kind of like find yourself and find your people and kind of just, be able to grow into like your fullest potential? I know that like people say that like college is supposed to be like the best years of your life, but like obviously everyone's experience is different.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the statement. Like, I did find myself a lot more moving here. Um, I will say like a lot of that growth just came from being away from my home and like meeting new people, meeting like I will say this, Vermont isn't a place where you meet people from like Jersey, like or like New York City, like anything like that. So I definitely was able to kind of meet more people and just figure out a group of people that really click with me, and that kind of just broadened horizons for me on like who I am as a person. And like moving here gave me a new perspective about home, like how much I love it. And like you see so much of the world in such a small lens when you come to college. You meet so many people and you figure out what you like as yourself as a person and what you want to change, what you're trying to be better at. And I think that is probably one of the most important things Quinnipiac has like taught me, is that when I came in here, I don't think I knew who I was, and I think I wanted to, which I think goes into kind of picking your major originally too. And I think as you grow here, you really start to figure out your life. Even though I will say I have not figured it out yet, I think slowly but surely this college has taught me what I want to do and who I want to be.
I agree. I think like I'm a senior and like I'm a completely different person than I was when I was a senior in high school or a freshman in college. And I think that like a lot of like the like experiences that shape you are like super important. And I think that it's really important to kind of just put yourself out there, even though it's scary and like you don't know what people might think of you. I still think that it's really important. And I think that something nice about college is that it gives you the space to kind of do that. And so would you have any like advice for like your past self or like seniors in high school now that are kind of, on the fence about going to college or like anything like that?
Um, Honestly, I would say don't rush figuring it all out. Um, I know leaving home is one of the scariest things you can do. I think I cried for a week and a half leading up. I came here and my face was so puffy. Um, I think you feel like you have to grow up in a minute as soon as you touch down here. When truthfully, that's not the case. And if you're looking at a college and you're thinking, well, I figured out who I am and this is just going to be part of it. You will get there and you will start figuring out more things about yourself you didn't know. You will grow in new ways. You'll join clubs, you'll join organizations, and like having those experiences and kind of opening yourself up to new, I don't want to say experiences again, but new perspectives um is what's going to change you the most. So don't rush anything.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that like deciding to go to college is a really big like decision. I think that there's a lot of factors that you need to be like aware of. And I think that like especially right now, like financials and like everything like that, like if I were to give anyone a piece of advice, it would just be like go wherever's cheapest.
Yeah.
I did not do that. And I wish that I had. Obviously it depends on like your major and the best opportunities for you, but I think that a lot of people get caught up in like wanting to go to like big name schools and like be in like the like big cities and stuff. And I think that a lot of people don't really like think about what their situation is going to be after those 4 years or after however like long they decide to go to school. So I think that like keeping in mind the financial situation, especially because like laws are changing every year. So you just never really know where you're going to end up after you graduate. And I think that always like keep in mind that like there's so many options. Like I changed my major after a year and a half. And I never thought that like I would go into advertising. I didn't really even think of it like as like a major. So,
Yeah.
like go wherever like the most opportunities are. And I also would agree that like something really nice about Quinnipiac is like the job, like the employment rate after graduation. That's also why I came here. So yeah, I think that those are really important pieces of advice.
Yeah. And like especially make and for like if you're a college, not college, if you're a high school senior, look into other scholarships. Look into the ones that are like 1,000, $2,000. They count so much towards like the
Yeah.
end of it all.
Yeah, even if it's just like pocket money, like it's just really nice. I know like I have a job here, but like a lot of people, they're not able to kind of balance working and being a full-time student. So, definitely apply to any kind of scholarship. Like it doesn't hurt to apply. That's something I wish I had done when I was a senior in high school. So yeah, I think that that's also really important. So,
Mhm.
do you have anything else you would like to add?
Um, Not that I can think of.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course.